I think I read in a book that we go to the stars to get our baby, and it takes us 100 days to come back. And that's just a way of showing how slow and beautiful this process is. So hi. Today I'm going to talk about birth as a rite of passage. So I've done two videos before. I've done one on menarche and one on menopause. So menarche is one bookend of the fertility time of a woman's life, and menopause is the other bookend, right? So the fertile years of a woman rest in the middle between the two bookends, and we've done the videos, so you can check them out. Today we're going to talk about something that can happen if you choose to. If you choose to go through the journey of becoming a mother, it will happen somewhere in the middle of this journey between menarche and menopause. So maybe I'll just start by saying, and this is very important and something that most modern day women don't know. The woman that gets pregnant and the woman that will give birth is the same woman that was initiated into womanhood in her first period. So we talked about the importance of rites of passages and how rites of passages mark a moment in a woman's life or in anybody's life, but in this case, in a woman's life, whereas who she was is not who she'll need to become. Right. So when she's a kid, she has kids' values, kids' ways of being, and being like a boy, being the same or whatever, it makes no difference. For example, before she becomes a fertile creature, let's call it. But as soon as she goes through menarche, then something else starts happening. She has these monthly disruptions, and but she also has she starts being rhythmic, and that starts slow. It's a slow process, but she starts becoming rhythmic. In an ideal world, she would become familiar with her body and with her rhythm throughout the journey post menarche when she's a young woman. So as she becomes familiar with her body and her rhythm and the way that she is in the world, and she develops this deep connection with her body, when she gets pregnant, it's a natural evolution of that relationship. So she would be very in touch with her body, with her needs, and how to rest, when to rest, what to drink, what to eat. This is not what's happening. So most women today are overworked. Most of us are pumping adrenaline and cortisol nonstop. There's a really good book called The Rushing Woman Syndrome. I'd say it's the modern day woman's syndrome. It pretty much speaks to how the stress hormones cause havoc in a woman's body. And so this is the woman, this woman that hasn't been initiated in menarche in an aware way. She probably comes from a lineage of mothers and grandmothers that didn't really have that connection with their cycles. And again, I'm not blaming anyone, just stating facts. That's what we've inherited, and that's what we're up against. And then this woman probably got jobs and went to university and was busy and then decided to get pregnant. This is the woman that will have a pregnancy and birth. Why is this important? Because there's something really sad that I see happening when there is a new wave, which is a very important new wave, please don't get me wrong, of wanting to remind us that natural birth is very important, right? That women should give birth naturally. Maybe should is not the right word, but we are made to give birth naturally. So with this remembering, and some countries are way behind. I think Brazil is, and some other countries are behind in this, but in Scandinavia, in other countries in the world, this is really, that's how it's mostly seen. And of course, we know that medical system is here, and it's the medical system is really good in when it's needed to intervene, right? It's not here. It's not very good at prevention. It's not very good in keeping us healthy, but it's good in helping us when we need. We have women that come with a lot of adrenaline and cortisol and stressed, really stressed, and then they get pregnant. So they can have a very, very difficult journey in pregnancy if their bodies are really, really requiring them to just nurture that baby. And I'm not saying here that you have to give up your job. I'm not saying anything. I'm actually never suggesting you to do anything. What I'm actually saying is that your body is doing tremendous work. Tremendous. Like building a human from scratch is no easy feat. And women that have gone through this journey know how exhausting it can be, and for some of us there's morning sickness, for some of us there's the whole day sickness. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in developing this new human. But because the world outside or our work or our other commitments don't really, we have lost connection to the sacred, to life as a sacred thing. And we have this crazy relationship with life as if it's all kind of like matter of fact. We developed this very pragmatic relationship with pregnancy and birth. And we celebrate women when they just go, go, go. Oh, she's amazing. She was just before labor, she was at a meeting, and I'm going, wow, her body was probably so tired and exhausted. So, as a culture, we're the village, and we have the obligation to um, receive women in this rite of passage. So she's going through a rite of passage, she's pregnancy and birth is the end of the rite of passage, the finale, the rite. But if she doesn't have a pregnancy where she can really feel held, feel heard, feel that her needs are met, feel that her what she's asking for is understood. If she doesn't have that, or she doesn't feel secure, I mean, security is paramount. A pregnant woman, certainly is not made to go and fight. You can only imagine in nature, in our time in nature. A pregnant woman wouldn't be the one that would be going and fighting and hunting for animals. She even could do that, but actually, ideally, you would have a layer of people outside that'll be doing that for her because she has a tremendous job here growing the baby. We have in pregnancy and birth, we have a context that's not working well for us. So, a woman in modernity, she has to almost become her bodyguard. And I'll do possibly another video telling about my pregnancies and my birth of my kids. I publish them on Substack. You can go there and have a look. I can do videos as well. Because the pregnancy and births of my kids, they were really important for me because I had to become, in the first pregnancy, I had to become my own bodyguard. Of course, my partner was amazing and is amazing, but he couldn't understand the the gravity of what I was noticing, of the distance of what the medical system is, what doctors are taught to measure, look for, and evaluate, and the way they're taught to work with women. And of course, there are probably lots of exceptions, but the majority of doctors are taught in a very mechanistic way. And what I was feeling, I was just like, I'm gonna have to educate myself. So, during my first pregnancy, I educated myself, and so I could have the best choices for birth. Dear women, when you are approaching birth, don't blame yourself. Or if you have approached birth, if you have had a very difficult birth, let's say, and you really wanted a natural birth, please never blame yourself. This is very, very important. You are in a context that makes everything very difficult for you. I used to tell people that I had to become a fighter in the birth of the pregnancy and birth of my first kid, Luana. And women are not meant to be fighting, as I said before. We're meant to be relaxing, having somebody else to fight for us. But because I looked around and I was like, the medical system and the way I was brought up to think about pregnancy and birth is not serving me. So I'm gonna have to fight to change this. A lot of women are very trusting. And I've used to run workshops for women and pregnancy and birth. And some women read a lot, and they got a doula and they got a midwife, and they really created a circle of protection, which I say is very important. Create your circle, the people that you go for, and the people that when you're in contraction in labor, you can trust the other people that you trust can make decisions for you and decisions that you want. If you are in a moment giving birth and you feel threatened in any way, what you will be pumping in your system is adrenaline and cortisol. And we know animals hide when they go give birth. They go into the dark spots, they go inside, little pet animals might go inside the drawer or in the hidden spots. That's what we want. We don't want light. We don't want noise. We don't want people measuring us. Can you understand how a person that we don't know measuring us or putting their hands to measure us to see if we are dilated enough is not something that feels relaxing to our systems. So I'm saying all of this because all the ways that the medical system has been taught or uh, conducts, doctors conduct themselves, and when a woman's giving birth, women think that they fail, but actually their bodies are responding accurately to what they perceive to be threat. When we perceive to be around threat, we close, we don't open. When we're giving birth is just like sex. You need to really trust to open yourself up. If you are in an environment where you don't trust, around people that you don't trust, and if they're having conversations, they're aggravating your system and triggering your nervous system, chances are your labor will stop, your contractions will stop. And doctors might say, wow, your labor has stopped, your contractions have stopped, we don't know why. So I'm sharing with you, there a lot of chances that it's nothing about you. Your body is reacting in the perfect way because your body is super intelligent, and your body goes, this is threatening, I'm gonna close until I can trust again. One of the very important things that I'd like to leave you, if anything else, if you forget everything this video, is that a birthing woman needs to trust. So you don't need to imagine that you can trust. Your body will know when you trust. So your body feels relaxed. You can, of course, you can do that by calming your breath. Your breath is a great gateway to activating your parasympathetic. So you can use tools and music and things to guide you to help your body fall into this relaxation mode, into trust. But it's also important that you hear your body's signals. If your body's not trusting that doctor over there, if you don't like that person over there looking at you, it's important that you can tell your partner or people, can you tell that person to go? I need to be on my own. So all of that is building the muscles for a woman in this rite of passage, for her to be the mother that she needs to be, to speak for her child, and to trust her instincts and her intuition. She has phenomenal mother instincts, and they start really actively in pregnancy and birth. As we saw in the beginning of the video, the woman that you were initiated in Menarche is the woman that's going to come, as my teacher Jane used to say, to the birth altar. Put into place some strategies, create your group of trust. During your pregnancy, take time to understand your body, to meditate, to do things that you love, to have joy, develop a relationship with your baby. And if you choose to birth in the hospital or in the birth center or at home, make sure you have people around you that can help you go through this rite of passage. Now, one thing that I also feel it's really important to say, and Jane says that, and I think it's beautiful and important, is that there are no bad births. Births are always perfect for whatever you need to learn for that baby, to be the mother of that baby. So some women end up having medical intervention in birth, and then they process that birth and they understand themselves much deeper, and they understand what they had to develop. So, and then they can have a different experience on the second birth or the third birth. So I think this is really important, and I've seen that happen. Even Jane, my teacher, she had a first a cesarean section, and then she had two other labors, and they progressively taught her different things. So it's a really very powerful moment for you to reconnect to who you are and who you want to be as a woman. So, no matter how the rite of passage of birth is for you or was for you, if it was extremely traumatic, then maybe we have to dedicate a video just for that, and take time and talk about it. But it's very important for you to know that if you have people not listening to you, people shining lights on you, people measuring you, or you having to discuss with people as you are in labor or argue with people, you're not being honored. And it's very normal that you would potentially not have the birth that you wanted to have if these things happened. So don't blame yourself. Every birth is perfect as a rite of passage to initiate you into this new version of yourself. And as you see, I'll do two videos, one for the birth of my first child and one for the birth of the second child. And they were very different experiences, and they initiated me into the next version of myself so I could birth my second child from this other place. Because of course we are like, Russian dolls. We expand and become different people through the journey of pregnancy, birth, and then mothering the first child. So all our births are rites of passages, including miscarriages, including abortions. So if you have a miscarriage, if you have an abortion, also treat it as a rite of passage. Maybe people around you don't see as an important thing. It's a very important thing. So take some time to honor it. Again, create a circle of trust, people that you can trust, that you can share how impactful that was for you. And debrief your birth story. Create maybe a group of women or a group of people, and men and women. Make sure that if you're sharing that with men, that you frame for them that this is very important, that you need their full attention. Because I'm saying this because if you share stories that are very deep and very intimate, and they're not held and received, it can feel, instead of feeling healing, it can feel re-traumatizing. So choose the people you start sharing with. Don't share with everybody if you have a very difficult birth story, but make sure you share with a couple of people you trust and process that story. It's good to cry. It's good to understand why that happened, why in you, and never blame yourself. Understand that our culture, as I said, makes it very, very hard for women to birth naturally. Check out the birth stories at on Substack, but it's very important that on the other side of the rite of passage, that the father, society, the friends also receive this new mother that has just done this incredible feat of, I think I read in a book that we go to the stars to get our baby, and it takes us 100 days to come back. That's just a way of showing how slow and beautiful this process is. So food, meal trains, modern ways of doing the village, helping the woman have time to be at home, be with her baby, learn how to breastfeed, learn how to be with her baby, learn how to be with her baby's cues. It's all a very big learning curve for modern women because we don't have the tribe. So allow the women in your community, your partner, or allow yourself to have the time to really receive this rite of passage. You have just gone through a rite of passage, and now you need to just let it metabolize. So don't take don't rush to go back into the world. Some women stay at home for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, receiving food, receiving things, or just do what feels good for you. But it's very beautiful to just slowly come back into the world, because your body needs, it's a massive feat to be pregnant. It's a massive feat to give birth, and it's massive to be a mother and to breastfeed. So you need to keep replenishing. And these slow moments are vital. And our culture keeps speeding us up, wanting us to go back to work, wanting us to stop breastfeeding. So relish on the slowness of the post birth, the postpartum time. Really receive, take a moment to receive from your community and to nurture yourself. And that is a part of your rite of passage, to understand your rhythm, understand that actually receiving is very important, that slowing down is very important, and that we don't have to go all the time. I hope you found this video useful. And if you enjoyed the video, share with your friends, take a moment to subscribe, and please post a comment and even suggestions for future videos. If you're interested in being a part of the conversation, make sure you join C Lab Substack. See you next time.